This is the senior legal affairs reporter for Politico posting on X. At some point, the amateur effort to knock on doors of home daycares intersects with robust stand your ground laws. What is being exposed right now is so dangerous for the left, for the Democrat Party, for the people that this fake reporter supports, that he's essentially hoping that one of these Somali refugees running one of these scam operations in Minneapolis, I guess, shoots reporters that are going to knock on the door?
Yeah, I'm going to have to take your word for it, Rob, that that's an actual real quote from one of these fake news outlets. The idea that you're conflating
Politico.
What, a burglar breaking into your house and being allowed to use deadly force against that burglar, as opposed to a young reporter who's getting to the bottom of billions of dollars of built taxpayer funding. If there are any burglars in this story, it's not the young, fearless journalist. It's the Somali community members who were stealing your taxpayer funds, my taxpayers' funds, and had signs for their learning centers where they can't even spell the word learn grammatically correctly.
Yeah, I mean, is this a senior legal affairs reporter for Politico? And if does anything indicate better that the threat that this reporting, that this story has on all the institutions that this, he claims to be a reporter. He's not a reporter. He's a propagandist for the left in this country, for the Democrat Party. And he realizes that this threatens everything. I mean, who is going to want to vote for more government and for bigger safety nets when they see that all of our money is just being lit on fire and just dumped into refugees coming here and scamming us out of billions of dollars? Who's going to vote for this party once they see this story?
Well, look, I think there's two things that need to be said. Number one, that article, that quote-unquote legal expert, is doing what the left always does, which is normalizing violence. That's a dog whistle. Talking about stand your ground, legal authorities, that's about the use of deadly force, just as it was with people who called my friend Charlie Kirk a fascist for years. You're doing what? You're normalizing the option to use violence against those who politically differ with you. On the second point, with regards to who's going to vote for which party, look, I'll just say this. There are times at which, you get out of your lane. My thing is counterterrorism, the correct use of violence to protect the innocent. And you go, there can't be anybody in America who agrees with what we're witnessing in these reports. I mean, really, even if you're not a political individual, like most of the people who watch your show, Rob, who really get into these issues, if you're just a normal human being and you go, hang on a second, this is just wrong. This is my money. So I think this is a real wake-up call to the average American who doesn't live in the swamp.
Yeah, and just to really put a button on how the scale of this and how dangerous it is, you're talking about counterterrorism. Reports for the last month of Somali fraud funds being sent to al-Shabaab. We've seen that. You have a former Minnesota DHS whistleblower that said 7 years ago talking about this same issue. Take a listen to what he says here and where this money could be ending up.
Every time there was a terrorist attack, Paris, San Bernardino, France, Paris, even the Syrian war, we would, as investigators, we would get together the day after the attack and we would ponder amongst ourselves, how much Minnesota taxpayer dollars was being used to fund that war, that attack? What bought that gun? Where'd that money come from?
That's an unbelievable statement from 7 years ago, and it makes you realize just how much of this money could have been going to these places. What is the plan to try and figure out how much of our money went into the Middle East because this fraud was allowed?
Well, look, I'll quote, I think it was on a news program earlier today on Newsmax, where I saw a Secretary Nome at DHS state unequivocally this is going to be one of the largest investigations at DHS in terms of which immigrants are bilking the U.S. taxpayer out of literally billions of dollars. And I was at a meeting today that I chaired on counterterrorism, where we looked into the, and this is unclassified, recent arrest in Texas of somebody who has now been charged with material support to ISIS for trying to wire $38 to ISIS. He committed a crime that's going to put him away for many, many years if he is found guilty by a jury of his peers. And we're not talking about $38 in this instance. What we're talking about is potentially millions of dollars leaving America from those fraudulent entities to fund terrorist FTOs, foreign terrorist organizations abroad. So we have only just begun. So whether it's Stephen Miller, Governor Nome, Kash Patel, we are on the case and people will face justice, Rob.
Sebastian Gorka, counterterrorism for the White House. We appreciate you coming on, sir. Good to see you. You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt tonight on Newsmax.